What would you do if, in one moment, your child simply vanished? This is the chilling reality that met the McCann family in 2007. Imagine a serene holiday in Portugal, a family enjoying the sun, the beach, and the comfort of their vacation apartment in Praia da Luz. Then, in an instant, their world was shattered. 3-year-old Madeleine McCann, with her cherubic face and bright blue eyes, disappeared without a trace on the night of May 3, 2007. This wasn't an ordinary case of a child straying too far from their parents. This was a disappearance that left no trace, no clues, no answers, only a myriad of questions. The McCann family, their friends, and indeed the whole world, were left to wonder, what happened to little Madeleine? From that fateful night in 2007, the disappearance of Madeleine McCann has evolved into a complex puzzle that has baffled investigators and captivated millions around the globe. This case has since become one of the most high-profile missing persons cases in history. The evening of May 3rd started as a typical family vacation night for the McCanns. They were vacationing in the picturesque coastal town of Praia da Luz, Portugal. The air was filled with the comforting hum of holiday chatter and the tantalizing aroma of local delicacies. The McCanns, along with their 3 young children, were staying in a ground-floor apartment in a resort complex. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the kids were tucked into bed, their minds filled with dreams of another day of adventure in the Portuguese sun. Madeline, the oldest at just 4 years old, and her 2 younger siblings were left to sleep in the apartment. Their parents, Jerry and Kate McCann, decided to have dinner at a nearby tapas restaurant within the resort complex, just a stone's throw away from their apartment. Joining them at the restaurant were 7 of their friends, a group that has since been dubbed the Tapas 7. They had a clear view of the apartment's rear entrance, and they agreed to take turns checking on the sleeping children throughout the evening. As the night wore on, the checks were carried out. Every half hour, one of the adults would peel away from the table, their laughter fading as they walked the short distance to the apartment. They would slip quietly inside, listen for a moment to the soft breathing of the sleeping children, and then return to the restaurant, reassured. However, just before 10 o'clock, it was Kate McCann's turn to check on her children. She made the short journey to the apartment, expecting to find her 3 children sleeping soundly, as they had been all evening. But instead, she was met with a parent's worst nightmare. The window was wide open, the room was cold, and Madeleine's bed was empty. It was during one of these checks that Kate McCann discovered Madeleine was missing. As the horrifying reality set in, the search for Madeleine McCann quickly escalated. In the heart of Portugal's Praia da Luz, local law enforcement sprang into action. Their first tasks were daunting: securing the crime scene, gathering evidence, and beginning the painstaking process of interviewing potential witnesses. However, as hours turned into days, the gravity of the situation became all too clear. This wasn't just a local case anymore, it was an international crisis. The British police were called in, increasing manpower and resources in the search for Madeleine. British and Portuguese law enforcement worked side by side, their joint mission fueled by a shared sense of urgency and a desperate hope for the little girl's safe return. Amidst the high-stakes investigation, various leads began to emerge, each one a potential key to unlocking the mystery of Madeleine's disappearance. There were sightings of a suspicious man near the McCann's holiday apartment, a sketchy van seen in the vicinity, and even reports of an international child trafficking ring. Every lead was pursued, every angle examined. The net was cast wide in the hopes that somewhere, somehow, one of these leads would bring Madeleine home. Suspects also came under the spotlight. From local residents to holidaymakers, from known criminals to individuals with no prior history, the police left no stone unturned. And as they dug deeper, theories began to form, each one more bewildering than the last. Was it a planned abduction, an opportunistic crime, or something even more sinister? Yet, as the weeks turned into months, and months into years, each lead seemed to hit a dead end. Each promising theory unraveled, leaving investigators and the world at large grappling with more questions than answers. The hope that had once united everyone seemed to fade with each passing day. Despite the international attention and numerous leads, Madeleine remained missing. The beginning of the investigation promised much, but delivered little. The search for Madeleine McCann, a mystery that had quickly escalated into an international investigation, was far from over. As the years have passed, the mystery surrounding Madeleine McCann's disappearance has only deepened. Theories and speculations have been spun from every corner, each one attempting to piece together the jigsaw puzzle that is this case. One prevalent theory is that Madeline was abducted by a stranger. This theory hinges on the fact that the McCann's apartment was easily accessible, and the parents were not present at the time of her disappearance. The stranger abduction theory suggests a chilling possibility that a predator may have been stalking the family, waiting for an opportune moment. Another theory suggests involvement by someone known to the family. This could have been a friend, a neighbor, or even a staff member at the resort. The person could have had knowledge of the family's routines, providing an opportunity for them to act without raising immediate suspicion. Perhaps the most controversial theory is that of an accidental death covered up by the parents. Critics of this theory argue that the McCanns, both doctors, would have had no reason to cover up an accident. However, proponents point to inconsistencies in their statements and behaviors as potential evidence. Each of these theories, while plausible, lacks the concrete evidence necessary to prove them beyond a doubt. They are, at the end of the day, theories, speculations, attempts to make sense of a tragedy that has left a heartache in its wake. The truth of what happened to Madeleine McCann remains elusive, leaving a trail of questions in its wake. More than a decade has passed since Madeleine McCann disappeared, leaving a void in her family and a mystery that has captivated the world. As we've discussed, her case is marred with unanswered questions, the chilling events of the fateful night, the extensive yet fruitless investigation, and the countless theories that have emerged over the years. But at its core, it's a story of a missing child, a family's ongoing despair, and a relentless quest for truth. While the search for Madeleine continues, her story serves as a somber reminder of the thousands of missing children who are still waiting to be found.